welcome to Askimo TV. I'm talking today to Sue Atkins. Sue is an internationally recognized parenting expert, broadcaster, speaker, and author of the Amazon best-selling books, Parenting Made Easy, How to Raise Happy Children, and Raising Happy Children for Dummies. Sue offers practical guidance for bringing up happy, confident, and well-behaved children from toddlers to teen. She regularly appears on the award-winning flagship ITV show This Morning, BBC Breakfast, and The Jeremy Vine Show on BBC Radio 2, and is the parenting expert for many UK BBC radio stations. Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Wonderful. Sue, today's discussion is going to be about teenagers. So one of the biggest challenges we face as parents is the teenage years. So let's begin by starting with social networking. What are some of the pros and cons of social networking among teens, and what should we as parents be allowing?
Very interesting. I really am a keen advocate of, I love all the technology. I've got my own Parenting Made Easy app. I love the idea of Skype. I love the idea of social media. I'm on Twitter. And this is a generation of children growing up with this. They are totally connected 24/7. But with all that wonderful stuff, being able to use iPads and do their homework and email in all their assignments, comes a responsibility to learn to control it too, because a lot of this technology can be quite addictive. And I know social media sites, even myself, you can get kind of drawn in and you flicker from one thing to another. And while that's great, you do have to recognize it can make you quite buzzy, so you don't sleep very well. It can actually be quite addictive, and you have to learn to teach your kids to have some boundaries around it. And of course, when they're young, they don't understand putting boundaries in, and they can get absorbed and drawn in. And teenagers, of course, can get kind of a bit resentful and challenging if you start trying to put rules in around them. But your job as a parent is to look after them, protect them, and teach them so that they become independent and they can then self-regulate. So it's not about me telling people how to manage a child's social media activities or anything, but it is about you as a parent thinking about it. Because what is acceptable to you? I remember being interviewed on BBC, and the interviewer said, "So, I've got a 10-year-old. What do you suggest, what is appropriate amount of time for her?" And he was a bit shocked when I said, "So, John, what do you think is an appropriate time for her?" Because it's not about me. It's about what John or what you think that is appropriate time for them. And once you've done it, have some, boundaries around it, stick to it and be consistent, and have some consequences around if they break the rules. So social media is a wonderful thing. Teach your children also that what goes up stays up. And, if you wouldn't show your grandmother, then why would you put it up on screen? And remember, when you go for that interview in another 5 years' time, and they Google you, and you come up with whatever you've posted up, that will come back to haunt you. And I think kids need to understand that. Because when they're young, they don't care, and they can't see in front of themselves. But our job is actually to teach them and police them, if you like, in a way, so that they learn to do it for themselves eventually.
How do we talk to our children about sex, drugs, and alcohol? And is it even necessary to talk to them about these things? Many parents might say, my parents never spoke to me about these things.
Oh, yes, I've got a 3-set CD called Navigating the Choppy Waters of the Teenage Years. And it's a 3-set CD for a reason, or a 3-set MP3 now, because I cover all those difficult, challenging areas. Because you may have come from a religious background where you didn't talk about sex, or you don't agree with, drinking, or certainly you don't agree with drug taking. So your children need to hear that from you. You are their primary role model. So don't be frightened to tell them your views on things. I've used every opportunity I have been able to talk and teach my kids about the dangers of drugs, the dangers of alcohol if you take things too far. I'm a social drinker. I like to drink at parties and weddings and things. But, this idea also that to show them explain to them. But remember, they're watching you more than they're actually listening to you. So if you're banging on about not drinking and you're drinking a can of, lager every night, they're going to notice that more than if you just say, oh no, you mustn't drink. So we must talk and we must teach, and teach our values around respect, particularly young girls, respecting their bodies so that they don't do anything they regret. Also talking to them about when you've had alcohol as well, your guard goes down, your inhibitions come out, you go, oh, blow it, doesn't matter, I'll drive home, or I'll have sex with this young boy. So it's about being very careful, and don't be frightened to teach them, but don't do it in a heavy-handed kind of turgid, kind of patronising and lecturing way. That'll switch a kid off, no matter. Use it intelligently. For example, there was a young girl, unfortunately, that died of a drug overdose many years ago called Leah Beck. And the front page of one of the newspapers here in the UK had a very graphic, very scary, very sad photograph of her last picture of when she was in a bad state. And I used that with my two teenagers at the time. I've got a boy and a girl who are teenagers. And I used that. We picked it up, we looked at it, I said, oh, isn't that just so sad? And we talked around it. Again, Amy Winehouse, when she died, I used that as another opportunity to talk about it. So use everything to talk and teach your kids about the dangers that are out there. And they are going to make mistakes. And you've got to be there to not like the behaviour, but love the child. Don't keep on about mixing those two up. You love your child unconditionally, but you don't like what they've done, but don't leave them there. Give them a way out. Support them. And one key question to ask them when they've made a big mistake or a little one, what did you learn? Because from what did you learn, they will not make the same mistake again. And that's what life is all about. We all make mistakes, no matter how old we are. It's what we learn from them that is the important difference.
Sue, I think another one of the biggest problems that teenagers have is around low self-esteem. When we tell them that they're smart or pretty, they think, oh, we're just the parents. What practical advice or tips, if any, do you have for parents for us to help our children with their self-esteem issues?
Well, I'm a great believer, as I said to you before, all my work, all my writing, all my books, all my workshops, all my coaching programs are basically around how to raise a child with strong self-esteem. And it starts right from the beginning. I mean, you start from when they're a baby to a toddler, all the way through their lives, nurturing and not damaging their often very fragile self-esteem. Of course, during the teenage years, that can take a knock because they get spots, they get hormones, they get self-conscious, they get embarrassed by things easily. So again, you just have to sort of be alongside them, supporting them, nurturing them, and teaching them that self-esteem is an inside job. That it doesn't actually matter whether you've got the right pair of trainers and the right colour jeans or something. Actually, your interests and your individuality is very much more important. So it's not just an instant thing. You have to keep saying it. You have to be specific. You have to be sincere. And that's when I find my one-page profile activity that I teach with parents, with their teams, is a fantastic tool because that really nurtures, and with the parent, they work together on their one-page profile, which actually nurtures their self-esteem because the child then gets to feel love in the way they like to receive it. Because there are 5 languages of love. There is giving gifts. I don't mean giving big presents now. Little things, like a child who will give you a flower or give you a photo or draw a picture for you, they're giving you a gift. So they would actually like to receive love by you giving them a shell or you giving them, a little gift or something, because that's how they receive it. So we need to learn physical touch, of course, is a key one, where you hug a child. When they get into teenage years, they get embarrassed. So don't go over and hug them in front of all their friends. Perhaps just, pat them on the shoulder, rustle their hair, smile, but still keep that physical contact. There's quality time, of course, where you spend time with them. And during the teenage years, a lot of parents withdraw from their kids, thinking that they're difficult, they haven't got much in common, they don't want to hang out with mum. But actually, it's the absolute opposite. So look for ways to connect with them, to spend time with them. So for example, we like football in England. I support Chelsea Football Club, and my children do. And we have season tickets. And we've always gone together as a family, all through their teenage years, to watch Chelsea football. We'd have a hot dog, we'd have a chat, we'd have a laugh on the way home, we could discuss the football, who played well, the referee was awful. We kept the lines of communication open so that we could then nurture their self-esteem through chatting and bonding with them. And if they had issues, we knew about them. So that's an important thing, to try and go to the cinema with them. Find out what they like. What sort of music do they like? Instead of going, oh, you keep playing that noisy music, why don't you say, tell me, why do you like Maroon 5 or whatever they like? Get interested. Be curious. Again, have boundaries. You don't want to be their friend. You aren't there to be their parent. But for goodness sake, it's a wonderful opportunity to get to know this emerging adult who's fascinating, interesting, and has a lot to give. And so find that time to nurture your child's self-esteem in different ways like that.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.